Hello and welcome back once again to the single malt review where Dave is back on his minis once again. He cannot be stopped. What's he got?
Well, today's offering comes from this splendid Drinks by the Dram Sherry Monsters set, focusing on very heavily sherry-influenced whiskey. In particular, it is from The One. This is the Sherry Expression. So The One comes out of the Lakes Distillery. It is a British blended whiskey, so it's not just an English single malt. It is not Scotch.
They make it the second English distilled or English primary distilled. I say they've been quite cautious in their naming. You know, whiskies from the British Isles.
Yeah.
I think this being a blend probably contains grain whiskey from Scotland, but
so it's from across the British Isles, all combined to make this blended whiskey at 46.6% ABV. Seems to be their percentage of choice.
Interesting.
So Lakes Distillery, they're in the
Lakes District.
Lakes District, of course,
lovely
yes.
place. Just sort of, I guess, south of Carlisle, kind of level with the Isle of Man, kind of a thing. If you're looking at it on a wide map, but beautiful bit of a region, and apparently a difficult one to distill in because so much of it is heritage zoned that you are not allowed to build new buildings. So they've had to build their distillery within a pre-existing sort of historic farmhouse. They call it a distillery in a room, which sounds like an absolute nightmare, but nonetheless, they seem to be there to make some goddamn whiskey because looking this up, they are started by one of the co-founders of Arran, a distillery which has featured frequently and prominently on the channel, really one of our favourite, you'd have to say. And they've recently got the, whose name I will both mispronounce and I've just forgotten, Mr. Gandhi, the first name escapes me, but yes, Mr. Gandhi, previously of Macallan. And if that's not a whiskey making credential, I don't know what is. So yeah, they are in no way a English malt whiskey gimmick here. No. These guys are here to do the business. So
this is, I think, essentially a limited edition version of the One signature blended whiskey. In this case, the point of difference being that sherry finish. And from what I understand, it's a mixture of first fill ex-Oloroso sherry barrels and PX, petroleum death casks. And
that looks like a sherry finish for sure.
Unchill filtered, and that is almost a coppery red. That is a remarkable colour.
So yeah, can't fault the colour. So yeah, I have to keep reminding myself that this is a blend. It's been ages since we've done an actual blend.
Yeah.
We've done some blended malts, but they're not the same. So, it doesn't smell like a blend either.
Oh,
would have fooled me.
You got rum and raisin chocolate.
Oh yeah, rum and raisin all the way. Then it's a sweet chocolate as well. It's dark certainly, but it's maybe it's a 70% chocolate block. It's really,
as is the case of these Drinks by the Dram tasting sets, we get notes.
The
nosing notes here: sultanas and ginger with underlying touches of earthy peat. So I guess there is some peated spirit there.
Okay, yeah, I'll give them a little. There's a thread of peat here. I certainly wouldn't have.
Ginger's a good pick as well with that rum and raisin influence we both picked up on early doors.
Right, I think that's the sherry monster on the nose. I thought it was sherry bombs and there was peat monsters, but maybe they're trying to gentrify the label a little bit.
Yeah, there's people that don't like it when people search for anything related to bombs on the internet.
Even if they are in sherry. Anyway, on the palate. Wow, there you go.
There is some peat there. That is really peat is happening. Mr. Peat has come.
This is one of these the most stealth blended whiskies I think I've ever tried.
It's a big, spiky, explosive heat of young whiskey at first, but this all-enveloping fog, like a big, heavy sleeping bag of sherry influence, just wraps around you afterward and just does not let go.
For me, it's almost smooth first, fiery in the finish.
Interesting. I got the fire up front, followed by the fug of the sherry.
Yeah. With no part of this whiskey speaks to me as a blend. It is
interesting. It is. If it was presented as a single malt, I would take it at face value.
Yeah.
Well, the tasting notes here speak of a palate that is chocolatey at first, for dates, nutty barley, and cracked black pepper appear.
Nutty
Hint
barley,
of cask char too.
Yeah, I'd go with all of those. Did well, except for nutty barley. I don't know what nutty barley is supposed to be.
I'm getting more rich fruit, a bit more of some dark rum, a bit of molasses, and some cherries and plums.
I think dried fruit. I think the raisins go a long way in this one. And I think that's largely through cask influence here with whatever sherry casks they have used.
There's a first fill and Oloroso and PX.
Yeah. For a no-age statement, this doesn't taste immature in the least. This is, I mean, was I tasting this blind? I'd call this, I would start my pondering at 10 years old. I might go up as far as 12.
Wonderfully warm as well. There's a hint of peat, but also some just ashy wood fire smokiness too.
I think I'm not sure if you've watered yours already
not yet.
or not, but that really, really brings it out. It really makes it quite a dry...
Oh, I'm just enjoying it so much at full strength. That,
I think I might have been enjoying it more at full strength. That really invigorates the peat and the oak tannins, and you get quite a drier whiskey after adding that water.
Oh, yeah, that's brought out the peat on the nose. It has a tiny thread of water.
Yeah, no, I think that was doing well at its bottled strength at the 46.6. It's a little more austere than it used to be.
There are some wood embers happening now. It's a bit warmer, but still has rich fruits that speak of the sherry. In fact, the finish, described in the table notes, is long with vanilla and with vanilla and sandalwood. I guess sandalwood ties into the wood smoke. It's a little bit incensey.
More or less. It's. I have to keep reminding myself that this is a blend. There must be just bugger all grain whiskey.
Maybe it's just a very old, maybe nicely matured grain whiskey in a restrained quantities, because clearly this is something designed to be savoured, not just to get a whiskey out.
I think I could blind taste this 100 times, and not one of those times would I have even invoked the name grain whiskey.
If this was given to me as a blind tasting, I would suspect this could be international, could be an Indian whiskey with a heavy sherry influence.
I probably would have called it Glenrothes and gotten it wrong, but therein is my this whiskey is a little bit like Recommendo. It is like a maybe slightly lighter bodied Glenrothes. It's a bit between a Glenrothes and a Glendronach, I suppose is kind of where I'd put it, but not obviously completely akin to either of those two.
Well, this is our very first encounter with the one, and I would say this is off to a very good start.
It's pretty stunningly good stuff. It's because we've tried Cotswolds, and that was, I really quite like Cotswolds, and the two examples that we've tried, I thought one of them was maybe a bit over oaked. The more special one, I preferred their more typical one that we tried. But that one had all the hallmarks of young whiskey, whiskey in progress. This one doesn't. This is a complete package. This one is ready to go, fully mature. And I'm not sure, well, I suppose, kicking around since, what was it, 2011, I think, is when they founded this. They've had some time under the hood to mature some fairly decently old whiskey now.
It sounds like the Lakes Distillery is the one to watch.
Yeah, I think it really could be. It's I'm kind of flabbergasted. This is the very first time this has ever come up. I suppose for such a minute distillery, given that they're necessarily constrained in their the footprint they're allowed to do, they do not make quite a great deal of whiskey. But just from the people involved, they're clearly not there to muck about. And this is kind of borne out in the spirit here. This is really pretty tremendous stuff. I'd say this is a sound 89 for me. Wow. This is pretty. As a complete package that is tuned towards, I wouldn't even call this a sherry bomb. I don't know if I suppose that was the tasting theme rather than anything.
A heavily sherry influenced
espoused from the whiskey. But this is far from sherry bomb. This is a nuanced. This is a complete sherry package. It's not doing it for shock value at all. So 89 for me. It's scrummy.
And as luck would have it, when I was formulating scores in my head, I was gearing toward 89 as well. This is at the top end. This is a stunning blend. It's a stunning whiskey in its own right. It delivers the sherry well, but not just for novelty shock value. As you say, it's like it is balanced, it's nuanced, but it is layered just of oodles of character and fruit flavours.
Yeah, no, this is really good, and this is a tremendous sign for English single malt whiskey as well, because it's always hovered in this line of, is it a gimmick, is it actually going to take on, are people going to start taking it seriously? And this one is definitely taking it seriously.
With a a British blended whiskey, it's the whole country being represented, at least.
So there you go. Tremendous stuff there. We will be looking at this one with hawk eyes from now, because I want to taste their house whiskey. I want to try a single from these guys. I think the one is kind of a crap name, but I think Lakes Distillery, that's the one I'm going to be looking for. And yeah, I'm going to find it, damn it. So yeah, we'll see. Anyway, catch us back for another weirdo mini. Dave has got so many, it's actually a problem. It's actually a problem. So, Sludger, we're back.